to the green room. I am Meg Walter. I am here with Emily King. Hello, Emily. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
I'm so excited to get into last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Wow.
So let's just pick up right where we left off, which is the party at Prohibition, wherein Jen has already had a few too many tequilas prior to arriving.
In the car. As soon as this episode started, I was reminded just how bonkers every single woman there was dressed, which was like such a delight to have that reminder.
None of them close to on theme.
No, I think I want to give Heather a little, she tried.
Yeah. And that's right. Heather looks Flapper-esque. A little too many feathers, but
Heather's catchphrase actually should just be, I tried. Anyway, so they all look bonkers. There's that. And you start this episode thinking, oh, this is good. This is going to be good. This fight is good. Meg, it gets better. But there is something I want to talk about here really fast, because this is the catalyst for the best parts of the rest of the conversation. Is in the heat of the argument, Jen calls Mary a grandpa intercourser. And what happens next is they go to all the talking heads of the women, their confessionals. Yeah. And every other cast member is like, she crossed a line. You can't say that. And I'm like, first of all, she didn't cross a line. She said exactly what is happening. And second of all of you have been talking about this behind Mary's back. So I don't know why we're all so mad at Jen. And like, I think Whitney Rose said it best, surprisingly, where she was like, maybe it's true, but it's just rude. And I'm like, yeah, it is kind of rude. Like, for the rest of my life, I will send Jen Shah a Christmas card to thank you, because it's so good. It's so ludicrous. But what happens next is because we open next on Lisa and Heather having lunch.
Okay, yeah, that was weird. Like, when did they reconcile? Because last I remember, the end of the ski trip, they were still not on good terms.
No, and like lunch is intimate. Like it was just the two of them. I do think this is the first of a trend we'll see of Lisa being in everyone's business. So maybe that's what's going on.
Weird pairings there. We've got a Whitney and Mary. We've got a Lisa and Heather.
We just have Meredith Brooks, her only friend. And like, why does she need anyone else?
No, the looks he's giving her he doesn't have to say anything. He communicates so well with his face.
I crave Brooke's approval. I'll say it.
And I know I'd never get it. Then Meredith needs some art for her house, which she's only been in for 3 months, which honestly might explain some of the questionable style. She's just moved in. She hasn't really gotten around to fixing that weird banister with the mountainscape on it. Maybe it made me a little more sympathetic. And she goes to Mar Gallery. It's like in a very prominent place on Main Street.
I know, but like, was that art embarrassing to anyone else? Like, it felt like
it was very Utah.
I know, and that's what embarrassed me. Once again, I do not like the mirror held up to my culture. There's better taste here. But speaking of bad taste, what's up with Lisa's outfit?
Lisa comes in dressed like MC Hammer.
Like with a jacket from the Thriller Michael Jackson music video, but worse. I'm beginning to believe Lisa doesn't have great style.
My favorite Lisa moment in this is when she asks to touch every painting. Like a 5-year-old knows you can't touch art. And yet she asks the gallery owner every painting she sees, can I touch it?
Can I touch it? Can I touch it? And I was like, I guess Lisa's just working on next year's catchphrase. She really wants to make that happen.
Lisa's up there for me in terms of like causing trouble. I think that she's an essential ingredient here. She's definitely the meanest.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jen has the potential to be the meanest, but not in a way that I'm mad about. Like, I like that she's mean, because I think she does, like, as she likes to say, she keeps it 100. And I would agree with that. I think Lisa is sneaky. And here's the thing about Lisa. I feel like Lisa's the people I know personally, the only housewife they are friends with is Lisa. And so I had thought I probably am going to like Lisa the best. And I want to like Lisa the best, but I just don't like Lisa at all. And this episode just like dug me in deeper of like, I just don't like Lisa. She's not my person. She's not like fun enough when she's mad like Jen. Like Jen was she's not bonkers enough like Mary. She's not like sad. There's like something sad about Heather. I'm still rooting for her.
So we get some interior shots of Mary's house and it is bananas.
Oh, it's bonkers.
What is the aesthetic here? Like Middle East meets burlesque.
Like contemporary. She has this weird dining house.
Mary's also upset because Robert Jr. has bought his girlfriend a Prada purse, but has never bought her a Prada purse, which, like, Mary, you're an adult. Like, I feel I'm having a really hard time trying to decide what to get the adults in my life for Christmas, because adults are capable of buying the things for themselves that they want. Like, what is stopping Mary from just buying herself a Prada purse? And more importantly, why is she expecting her teenage son to get her that lavish and kind of romantic gift?
Because she doesn't have a romantic relationship with her grandpa. I mean, her husband. So she needs her son, her great grandson, to do it for her.
So Mary's like, I want to throw this intimate party and I want to get dressed up. Why not do a Met Gala? She thinks a Met Gala is a type of party, not the same party that is thrown at the Met every year in New York. She has no idea.
In May, by the way, like the Met Gala is a specific time. It's wild. It is wild listening to Mary work through the Met Gala. Like, I'm a plebe from Utah and I know way more about the Met Gala, and she's like way more well-traveled and better fashion design than me. So it killed me. This was the point in the episode where I was like, oh, Mary's just crazy.
I almost watched this episode twice last night because I just could not get enough of the complete chaos Mary was bringing. So cut to Jen coming over to Heather's. Now remember, Jen ended their last conversation by yelling at Heather and Heather having to escort her into Sharif's car. Jen has no remorse over this, and Heather seems fine with that. It's because
Heather's scared of her. She said that. She's like, I'm very scared of Jen, which, like, I get. I have a friend who scares me, and the thing I do too is just like, hey, how's it going? You okay?
Let's get to the party because
okay, all right. Well, if you're gonna throw a Met Gala party at noon in Salt Lake, if you're not doing it at Valters, what are you? You're not even throwing a party.
These men in full Buckingham Palace garb escort the women out of their cars onto a red carpet that has been laid out on a Salt Lake City sidewalk. Valters, nice restaurant, not like a super high-end part of town. It's just a city street.
No, Andy Cohen said it best when he was like, when you went to a noon Met Gala themed luncheon across from a PF Chang's. I was like, that says it all, because it does. I mean, the whole thing is so Mary. It's so bizarre.
It's so Mary in that they walk in and she immediately starts telling them how expensive everything is. She has prepared a gift for each of the women. And around the gift is a ribbon that says "Women Helping Women" on it, which is just really great.
Like, did she get that printed, you think?
No, or is it like X just has it and she's like, I'm into this?
Or like, I was like, did you go to an event and you just asked everyone for their ribbon? Like, I might use this later. Are you going to keep that ribbon? Okay, great. I'll
It was like an international women's crisis conference, and she's like, you know what? I want those ribbons.
Yeah,
I take your tote bag.
Love to keep these ribbons. This is where we heard Lisa say no less than 5,000 times. Oh, I love that. Like,
she's
even
such a
when
Regina George.
When her mic was all the way down, I swear to you, I could still see her mouth going, I like that. I love that. Yeah, she is great. She's a Regina George to the 10th.
So Mary does the worst thing you can do at a party, which is give people a chore. She wants them all to write down something about themselves that they're trying to work on.
Oh boy. Nothing about Mary's party seemed fun. I'm going to just call me crazy, but I don't love when I go to a party and they put rules around conversation.
No,
like
I
this,
don't
when you
either.
immediately are like, no one can talk when someone else talks. We're all going to be vulnerable. I'm like, you know what? It's not worth the truffle. I'll see you guys later.
I know, but those truffles did look pretty good.
I'd be like, get that toy soldier to bring my car around, please.
I also don't love parties where the prayers go on for a very long time.
How incredible, though, when Jen said amen halfway through.
Yeah.
And then to the producers was like, shh. That killed me. I had to listen to that prayer twice because I swore she also thanked God for herself, but she didn't. It's still up for debate. I couldn't get a clean, like clear consensus from myself. I swear she said for Whitney, for Jen, for me. I swear she said for me. And like, it makes so much sense she did that I'm going to go ahead and stay with it.
It'd be hard to look at Mary's life and want any aspect of it as your own. Like,
No way.
No, thank you. That's a hard pass for me on everything, every part of it.
There is not her house, her wardrobe. There's nothing I want to Mary's. Not a single thing. I don't want her church. I don't want her husband, certainly. I don't want her son. And I don't care if he's 17. I don't want to know that kid. I don't want to be around. I don't want that toaster oven they're always using. I don't want any part of Mary's life. I don't think that's what it is. I think it is a storyline for Jen. I guarantee you if they were not filming Housewives of Salt Lake City, Mary would have said that weird comment about her grandma being in the smelling like hospital, and Jen just would never have talked to Mary again. Because I think she just is like, I don't like her as a person.
I can't figure out where they found Mary. She truly seems out of left field to me. The rest of these people have a connection somewhat to something, but Mary is just, where did she come from?
That's why this whole episode was like a little bit of an eye roll. It's like, why are Lisa and why are Whitney pretending like they like Mary? There's no way. You can't actually like Mary. You couldn't. Yeah. You like Jen is likable.
You can feel bad for Mary. You can be concerned for Mary. You can want to help Mary, but liking her is like liking, I don't know, like a confused animal or something. Like it's just
like a raccoon who's rabid. Yeah. Like, but what you actually should do is just call animal control, because the next thing you know, you're at a lunchtime party in your fanciest gear with betta fish on like it's prom. Like Mary, I think is like, you know, when people have like traumatic events and they get stunted at like a certain age, like I feel like Mary's like perpetually 17.
Maybe that's it. Maybe,
like her accessories, how she feels about her son, how she feels about her friendships. And she kept being like, I invited Jen because I've got a good heart. And I'm like, you just asked those people who were helping you if they could read. Like, you don't have a good heart. You're mean. I actually think you're meaner than Jen. Because they could clearly read. That grown man clearly can read.
Linda and her grown son are literate. Mary,
you jerk. Anyway, I can't wait to see what happens next week. I had to watch this episode at 11 to 12 because that's when it airs. And I was up till 1:30 just thinking about it because there was a lot to unravel in my head.
Last week, I watched the episode and it was pretty boring. And I thought, oh no, is this what we've landed with? Is this the straw that Salt Lake City has drawn from the stack of Housewives straws? And this episode more than made up for last week. This was, I see now that last week was just a preamble to the big show.
You gotta ebb so you can flow. Like
exactly.
You gotta give us some down
valleys. We're looking out from Everest at this point. I don't know if next week can possibly top it, but I think we will get a continuation of this completely unhinged luncheon.
We do get a Seth and Meredith. It seems like a Seth and Meredith fight. I don't know what it is. Does Seth fight? He just kind of seems like he throws in the towel.
Pretty passive aggressive if I had to guess. Anyway, we will be back to talk about whatever happens. Until then, please remember to subscribe to our Hive Mind newsletter at hivemind.substack.com. Subscribe to this podcast, The Green Room, and become a member of the Beehive on the membership page of thebeehive.com. That helps this podcast and video podcast to grow.